With diseases like diabetes and atherosclerosis on the rise, proper nutrition is playing a more important role in preventative health care. This screencast will explain how to use the myplate.gov website to evaluate your current eating habits against USDA standards. Our first step is to go to the USDA's MyPlate website at www.choosemyplate.gov. Once there, you will scroll down to the bottom of the page until you find the Food Planner link. We'll be using the Food Planner link to evaluate our current eating habits against USDA recommendations. So let's click on that link. On the information screen, we need to fill out some information about ourselves. And so we'll start by filling in our name, our age, selecting our gender, entering our body weight, our height in feet and inches, and choosing our level of physical activity. For myself, I'm going to choose 30 to 60 minutes a day. And at that point, we will click the Submit button. Now, next we'll have to decide if we want to plan a menu for our current weight or to gradually move toward a healthier weight. We're going to choose for our current weight, since we're actually going to be using the planner to evaluate our current eating habits and see where we stand against USDA recommendations. Now, we'll begin the process of filling in the menu planner with the foods we consumed on a typical day. The planner sets a goal for total calories, in this case 3,000, as well as setting suggested amounts for each of the major food groups, as you can see across the top here. So we'll go ahead and type a food into the search window, for example, cereal. And we have some options, and we'll choose the type of cereal that's closest to what we ate. We'll select an amount of that food consumed and add any extras. In this case, 1% low-fat milk, and we'll designate a meal time, in this case breakfast. And then we will add that food item to our planner. We'll continue adding foods to match what it was that we ate on a typical day. Selecting those food items that are closest in comparison to what we actually ate. The search window is not going to be perfect. You may not find an exact match for foods that you ate, but you can get a pretty close approximation of those food items. Now, in the cases of certain items, you may have to get creative. In this case, I was able to find a ham sandwich. In other cases, you may need to actually select the meat and the bread and the other items. And we'll continue along, just adding food items into our menu. And again, what we're doing is trying to reflect what we ate on a typical day. Just a couple more items to go here. little typo. And of course we can't forget dessert, sad as I am to say. Okay, so that's a typical day. From this point, we're going to go ahead and compare what we've eaten with what the USDA recommends that we should eat. And so, from the reports menu, we are going to select daily menu. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, by looking at the status column of the daily menu report, we can determine where we need to add food items in order to meet USDA recommendations. As we look down, there are only two categories in which we meet the good status. The first of those is fruit. My menu reflected 2 1/4 cups of fruit. The goal, according to the USDA, is 2 1/2 cups of fruit. Coming up quite a bit short on vegetables, quite a bit short on whole grains, and grains in general. We're halfway there on milk. We're slightly low on meat and beans. And so from this point, we need to plan some adjustments to our menu. So we can go back to our menu planner, and one of the areas where we know we need to add foods is in the vegetable area. So we can go and add a vegetable, and let's say we want to add some tomatoes, and let's just call it raw tomatoes, and we're going to add those to dinner, maybe in the form of a salad of some sort. We're going to add that. It'll give us another vegetable serving, and maybe we're going to add to that salad some spinach along with our tomatoes and an oil and vinegar dressing. And we can add one more vegetable, and we can choose cooked carrots, and let's say 3/4 of a cup of cooked carrots added to our dinner. Actually, let's add that to our lunch. And now we can go back to the reports menu, click on the daily menu, and now our vegetables are up in the good range. And so the menu planner and the daily report gives you a convenient way of planning adjustments to your current eating patterns in order to develop more healthful eating habits that match up with USDA recommendations. Nutrition is a real important part of maintaining good health, and a lot of the major diseases that we see on the rise today tend to center around poor dietary habits. So this is an excellent tool for the average person to kind of evaluate themselves, and then moving forward to plan menus for days, weeks, blocks of time. Lots of good resources on this website from the USDA. This is just one aspect of this website. There's a lot more there.